Hello, thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be talking about signs that you might be AroAce. You know, along with other stuff, educational stuff to teach you about aromanticism and asexuality, you know, queer stuff. Now there is plenty-ish videos that talk about signs you might be aromantic or signs you might be asexual, but I'm gonna try to kind of focus more on aromanticism and asexual because I feel like there isn't a lot. There's really no one to blame, please don't blame me. Not only is being aromantic or being asexual kind of, you know, it's not common, but being both aromantic and asexual is uncommon. Being AroAce is like being a white peacock or a purple carrot. A lot more people. Although being aromantic and or asexual does seem to be uncommon, I truly believe with a bit more education, there's actually a lot more people who are aro and or asexual without even knowing it. But thankfully there is a rise of people who are learning and realizing that they are also aromantic and asexual, thinking more about who they are instead of sticking to their default character. And I feel like with the rise of people who are learning about themselves more and figuring things out, there's also people who are learning that they're aromantic and or asexual, and they're putting out content and making videos to spread awareness. I am one of those brave people sharing my godlike knowledge. You know, you're welcome. That would be $100. Let's kind of get into definitions. And this part of the video, when I really get into aromanticism and asexuality, it's kind of chunky. So if you want to skip this part, just go to the next chapter where I actually get into the 10 signs. Aromantic, also known as aro, means to have little to no romantic attraction. Asexual, also known as ace, means to have little to no sexual attraction. And to be AroAce means to be both aromantic and asexual. Aromanticism and asexuality is a spectrum or an umbrella term that has a lot of subcategories to them. It is actually perfectly fine to call yourself, you know, just AroAce or aromantic asexual if you don't feel confident yet in picking a specific micro label, or maybe you don't even care about picking a micro label and you're just perfectly fine with just calling yourself aromantic asexual. It also may be like kind of daunting and confusing to know where exactly you lie on the spectrum or under the umbrella, and it's perfectly okay to feel that way, especially in the beginning when you're just learning about yourself. It's even okay to be wrong about your labels because it's better to be wrong than to never care to even learn about yourself at all. So just use whatever label that feels best for you at the moment, and don't be hard on yourself if you need to change it or you're wrong or you just find another label that just suits you better. I'm gonna try to keep it somewhat simple in this video because a lot of the people watching this video are probably discovering it for the first time, or they're questioning it and they want to learn more about it, or they're just curious people who wants to educate themselves more about the other aspects of the queer community. Here is kind of like a simple version of the aromantic umbrella, and this is the asexual umbrella. You know, it's green. And these only have a few of the micro labels that are under the aromantic or asexual umbrella that specifically describes how a person who is aromantic or asexual will feel attraction. And some of the subcategories have subcategories. I am aromantic asexual, but to be more specific, like if I use micro labels, I would say I'm gray sexual in a romance repulsed aromantic, or just aromantic. Sometimes I'll just use aromantic. But if I were to get more deeper with the labels, I would say romance repulsed. And what I mean by romance repulsed is that a person on the aromantic or asexual spectrum can be sex or romance favorable, neutral, averse, or repulsed. For aromantics, a romance favorable aromantic can be totally fine and possibly enjoy doing romantic stuff and like romantic gestures and being romantically pursued, but won't feel romantic attraction. A romance neutral aromantic may not mind romantic stuff and gestures or being pursued. They don't really desire it, but they're not really bothered by it either. They just don't really care about it. A romance averse aromantic doesn't want any type of romantic relationship and actually may be uncomfortable with someone pursuing them romantically. A romance repulsed aromantic may be disgusted and by gestures even coded as romantic, or even the thought of being in a relationship kind of cringes them out. and they may not like romantic media, or they don't really like hearing about people's love life. For asexuals, a sex-favorable asexual may actually enjoy the act of sex without actually being sexually attracted to the person. But they just, they enjoy the act, A sex-neutral asexual could have sex, but they don't really care for it. They might be okay with doing it with someone that they care about to fulfill their needs, like their partner or something. But they don't really desire to have sex, but they'll do it out of love, A sex-averse asexual doesn't enjoy or want sex, and they also may not want any type of sexual relationship. A sex-repulsed asexual is someone that is repulsed or disgusted with sex and have no interest in doing it at all. And they may even dislike hearing about it or seeing it in like movies or those type of videos on the internet. So yeah, those are a different kind of like sex-averse, neutral, all that shit. Does any of it sound like you so far? So for me being gray sexual, I don't really know if I'm sex repulsed or neutral or whatever, but at the moment I feel pretty satisfied with just calling myself gray sexual without having to, label it any more than that. I may change my mind in the future. I'm okay with that. I used to believe that I was completely asexual, but then I learned growing up that I wasn't. As I said before, it's okay to be wrong. Nobody's perfect, even someone who seems as perfect as I am. I do know that I'm romance repulsed, because when you're repulsed by something, it can be kind of obvious. I feel repulsed anytime I feel like someone's even being even remotely romantic towards me. I'm like, don't do that. Just we have to keep it at friend level, because as soon as you want to be more than friends, I'm like, oh, this is getting kind of disgusting. I also have no desire to be in a relationship or be married, and some people's like, oh, that's gonna change, or it's like, I know you secretly do, you incel. But it's just like, no, I don't want to. I want to be single until the day I die. And to some people that sounds crazy, but to me that sounds like a dream come true. Like, I can't even imagine myself in a relationship or being married without me being like cringed out. Like, I'm literally cringing right now. It's just, I cringe at the thought of being with someone like that. It's just not what I want at all. I also don't really care about hearing other people's love life, but it's not like I don't care about the people that's telling me about it. Like, I care if they're in a happy relationship. I just don't really need the details, It's literally the first day of the year. And I'm like, I should record a video. But yeah, I do like seeing people be happy in a happy relationship or being like a cute couple. Like, sometimes I see couples on YouTube and I'm like, and they're just being happy together. I'm like, oh, they're so cute. They're so happy together. And I guess that's just the end of it. Even though I'm romance repulsed, I'm not repulsed by romantic media. I actually like it, and I like love songs. So it's like, not everything romance makes me feel repulsed. There's certain things do. You don't have to match your label to a T, but if you feel like you resonate with it, grab it, hold it, and it's okay to let go of it if you feel like it doesn't match who you are. But if you do feel like it matches who you are to a T, hold it, grab it, never let go. Anyways, all of that was kind of a lot. So let's get into the 10 signs that you might be aromantic asexual, or on the AroAce spectrum, or under the AroAce umbrella. Number 1, foot lettuce. Number 1, you don't really care about being in a relationship or, having sex. In middle school and up, people all around me was either in relationships or being intimate with one each other, or they were jealous and they wanted that for themselves. But I did not give a shit. If anything, I didn't really like when my friends and stuff within relationships come like, hey guys, what about me? What about our friendship? I actually had suspicion since middle school that I was asexual. Back then, asexuality was, kind of barely known, but even to this day, aromanticism is like barely even known. Since middle school, I kind of loosely claimed being asexual and or AroAce, but I didn't really fully claim it until I was like 19, 18, until I felt old enough and sure enough that I was AroAce. I just have no desire to be in a relationship. Don't really feel that much of a desire to be intimate with someone. If I were to go on with the rest of my life without being intimate with someone or being in a relationship, I would be totally fine. I really don't care. I want friendship. Number 2, you would rather be friends with people than to date them. Like, at the end of the day, I would only want to be friends. Either it could be like a little flirty friendship or just completely platonic, but friends till the end. Number 3, kind of what I was saying earlier, you probably won't mind dying single. You like being single and actually prefer it. Number 4, you don't get jealous of couples. You don't feel left out or envious when you see a couple walking on the street holding hands, being cute, or in the movie or a love song. You're not like, oh, I wish that was me. You're happy for them, or you don't really care about it. And hearing about people's love life or sex life doesn't really bother you, or you don't get jealous at all. Like, you don't wish that was you. You're just like, cool. Or you're like, please stop talking to me about this, I don't care. Number 5, being in a romantic and or sexual relationship just doesn't feel right. Being in a non-platonic relationship may feel forced or unnatural to you, or that you feel like you always have to fake your feelings, or you always have to like do more because that's what they would want, or that's what people are expecting, and you probably may even feel uncomfortable when your partner is like even being affectionate with you. Number 6, you don't have crushes. You grew up not really or having any crushes, or even understanding crushes, even a celebrity crush. From my experience, my crushes were people that I admired a lot. Like, I thought they were really cool, or I thought they were really aesthetic. Like, I really thought they were either really handsome or beautiful, or I really wanted to be their friend. So it's like I was kind of obsessed with them, but in a please be my friend, you're so cool. Like, at the end of the day, I just want to be friends. Number 7, you don't really get or understand people's love or sex life. People may talk about their love life or their sex life with you, and either you don't really get it, or you just flat out you don't really care, because that kind of talk just generally just doesn't interest you. You don't get when people get obsessed and they have those rose tinted glasses. In fact, you probably never even had the rose tinted glasses. You just never felt that way for someone, so you just have no understanding on how they can even be so obsessed with someone or so heartbroken. Number 8, you don't like when people sexualize you or talk about you being in a relationship. You may feel uncomfortable when someone makes a sexual comment about your body or about you, or they like flirtly touch you. You don't like people pair you with someone else. You also don't like when people talk about you being in a relationship or being married. Like, that actually just feels like weird and like cringy to you. Number 9, you don't really care about being attractive. Whether you don't care about your looks at all, or you don't care about what other people think, in a way, like, you kind of just dress however you want. You may even want to look good and want people to think you look attractive and good, but you're not dressing so that someone is attracted to you. I don't know. I just want people to think I smell good and I look good, but don't hit on me. I'll run away. And number 10, you might be an accidental heartbreaker. In almost every relationship you've ever had, it may have not lasted long. Maybe you were the one to end it in the first place. And instead of heartbreak, you actually feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders, like being in a relationship was such a burden. Like, especially when you're not really aware that you're AroAce, or that you're not into these type of things, you might you might get yourself in relationships that you kind of back out of, or you regret, and you're just trying to be normal, or what's deemed as normal. When I was in high school and I thought I wanted to date this guy, and as soon as we started dating, I was like, we need to cut this shit off now. I did not want this, really. My older brother was like, after 3 weeks, you give them your first kiss. And I was like, holy shit, 3 weeks is coming up. So I broke up with him. I did break his heart a little bit. He was a bit of a hopeless romantic, so it was like, sorry, man. I think it was like my freshman or sophomore year. But basically after him, I was like, I'm never getting into a relationship again until I actually have true feelings for someone. And then I never got into a relationship again. So the only way I was really a heartbreaker is when someone would have a crush on me, and I'm like, sorry, I don't want to be with you like that. Or I would play too much. I'm sorry, but I would play too much, get their hopes up, but I wouldn't purposely get their hopes up. Or sometimes I would have that flirty friendship and they may want something more, but I don't. I'm just like, playing around. Sometimes I just play too much. I'm so sorry, but I like being flirty sometimes. I can't help it. My hand hurts. Oh. So anyways, there you go. 10 signs you might be aromantic asexual. And just so you know, because aromanticism and asexuality is such a wide spectrum, or there's a lot of things under the umbrella, this isn't like a checklist that you have to check in order to be AroAce. If anything, you could be like only one of the things that I said, or like relate to one of the things I said, and you can still be AroAce. The checklist was kind of based on my own experience, like where I stand on the aromantic and asexual spectrum. And like I said, the spectrum is wide, so it's like you can still be AroAce. just make sure you do your research and don't be shy. Leave a comment down below if you have a question for me or a question for the other AroAce people within this community. And if you are AroAce yourself, talk about your AroAce journey down below in the comments. It can help someone out. Plus, I love reading people's comments. It's really the best part about being a YouTuber, just building a community and like talking to people and then being like, thanks for the video, and I'm like, thanks for watching. And at the end of the day, comment whatever you want. Tell me I'm pretty, but like in a friend way, you know. So yeah, I really appreciate you watching this video. If you really like what I do, consider becoming a channel member for as little as 99 cents a month. It would really mean a lot. Follow me on Instagram. I post there sometimes. Anyways, I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!